Hello, everybody. This live stream is basically just to accompany a blog post that I did recently, which is Quasar's QTable, the ultimate component. And I really do think this is the ultimate component. And in this video, we're basically going to be going through setup, data, and columns for the QTable component. So let's begin with the setup. But before I dive into that, if you like this kind of stuff, then check out quasarcomponents.com. I'm going to show you an awesome offer there where I'm basically going to teach you every single Quasar component. There are 72 Quasar components. We'll go through every single one. And we're also going to do some other cool stuff like rebuild the YouTube UI. We're going to build our own Quasar app extension and a couple of cool other things there as well. So definitely go ahead and check that out if you are interested in that sort of thing. And why wouldn't you be? Quasar's components are mind-blowing, and there are 72 of them. And so definitely check out quasarcomponents.com. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to want to do is set up. Now, a lot of you have probably already done this already if you're in the sort of Quasar community. So we'll say npm install -g at quasar/CLI. That's going to install Quasar's CLI. Now, I've already got that, so everything should just run through smoothly there. And then when that's done, we're going to create our application using the new Quasar CLI tool. So you might have to exit out of that and jump into another terminal. So that's basically what I've just done there. And we'll say Quasar create, and let's call this q-table-play. That's probably a good name for it. And obviously, we're going to have to put in some settings here. I'll leave most of it as the default, just so we can get through this quickly. SAS with SCSS, that's fine. I like to use ESLint, and I don't think we're going to need any of these other options here. You might actually want to include Axios because we will use Axios later on, but I'm going to manually install it anyway. So let's run all of that. We'll go to standard. I don't like to use prettier unless it's like an advanced project. Now, we highly recommend using npm for global packages and yarn for local packages. You're much more likely to have success with Quasar with that combination. And that tends to be true in other communities as well. You do tend to want to use npm for global. And yes, you can use npm for local as well, but we like to use yarn for our local in the Quasar community. But honestly, it's totally up to you. They're both going to work. So we'll go ahead and get that installed. And when it's installed, we're ready to get started. And if you want, you can also clone the GitHub repo. So I'll just quickly show you what that looks like. It's ld/q-table-blog. So you can go ahead and clone that if you just want to get things started that way. All right, so this is almost done. When it's done, we are then going to cd into that repository. So cd q-table-play, repository, I mean folder. And I'm going to open that in Visual Studio Code. So code dot, and then let's exit out of here, go full screen, and let's run Quasar dev. Actually, I might jump out of full screen there and just throw that on the side. And how about this? I'm going to get a Chrome browser over here, whack it on that side, whack this on that side, and just set things up nicely so we're ready to get going. And one thing I like to do with new Quasar projects is set up my linting. And so if I go to ESLint-RC here, and I scroll down a bit, I like to go from View 3 Essentials to View 3 Recommended. It just gives me a little bit of extra linting. And now that I've done that, I might actually restart that Quasar server. So let's run this again. So that linting is picked up. One other thing I like to do, I have to do is go to error 404, because this page does end up having a linting problem. See that there? So I just go into that page and then save it, and it fixes that up for me. There we go. And now if we jump in index.view, we're ready to get started. Cool, so we're going to do everything from this page just to keep things super simple. And let's have a play around with the QTable component. Now everything's auto-imported with Quasar, so we can say q-table here, and that's just going to work. So that'll give us a table, but of course, it's not going to look like anything to begin with. So let's go ahead and feed that table some data. And I'm going to use the same data that we got from the blog just to keep things simple. We'll say rows is equal to, and then we give it an array of objects here. So the first object, I'm going to say the name is equal to Panda. That's the name of my little chihuahua. And then we'll give Panda an email of panda at chihuahua. I have to say it like that to remember how to spell chihuahua, .com. And there we go. It shows up in our table and it looks stunning to begin with. I love that about Quasar. You get everything looking beautiful from the get-go with virtually no work. So Lily is my other dog. She's also a chihuahua, so Lily at chihuahua.com. And there we go. We've got this beautiful table and we even have pagination working as well. So what else can we do? Another thing you might want to do is specify columns. So let's say columns here, and we'll set that equal to an array. And of course, by the way, you might want to have these as data properties sitting inside of your setup script, or however you want to do that. But I'm just going to do everything inline to keep it simple for now. So let's define some of the columns that we're going to have. All right, first of all, we'll have one that's got a label of dog name. So basically, we're going to tap into this column here and change that label to dog name. And then the field of that is going to be equal to name. And the name of that will be equal to name. And this is particularly useful when you're using slots. So later on, when we want to go to individual cells with slots, we're going to use name or whatever is written in here. And what else do we want? How about we align that to the left? It looks like it's already left aligned, but we can specify that anyway. So there we go. Now we're saying we only want this piece of data to show. We're specifying the columns now. And now that we've got that, we can come down here and add another column in. And let's make this column the email. So we'll change both of those, the field and the name, to email, like so. And we'll also align that to the left. I think that makes sense. Cool. But let's just imagine we've got age as well. So I'll add age in there. And how about for Panda, we set the age to 6. I think that's how old she is. And Lily is 1 year younger. And now we'll copy paste this down. And I want to show you something cool here. So we change that equal to age. The field is age. The name of that field is age. We can align this to the center, which is often something that you'll want to do with numbers. So let's say that. And there we go. Now that is aligned to the center. I think it looks a little bit better. But another thing that you can also do is add a formatter in there. So if we say format here, age, we can then say, for example, $sign age. So I'm using a template string here, which is why I'm able to do that. Years. Save it. And there we go. Now it says 6 years. Gives us a little bit of extra info on that data there. So pretty cool stuff. This is how we can basically customize the columns. But later on in this series, I'm going to show you we can actually get a lot more customization when we start using slots. All right, what else? We can also add a title here and add dark mode as well. So let's scroll up here to the top. And if we add dark, straight away, we've now got a dark mode table, which is really, really cool. Quasar's got this with pretty much all of its components where dark mode would make sense. So that's really awesome. Now, if you don't want this pagination at the bottom here, a way we can do that is basically by saying rows dash per dash page dash options is equal to 0. So why would we do that? These are basically all of our options here for how many rows are shown. So notice we've got or, we can say 5 or whatever, just to give the user more customization around showing the data in this table. But if we set that to 0, 0 basically means all. So all there, that option is 0. So by setting that to 0, saving it, we're basically saying the only option available is all. So now it's just going to show all of the rows by default. That's what that means. And now we can come down here and say hide dash bottom. Since now it's going to show all by default, we don't really need the bottom anymore. So we can go ahead and just hide it. So these are what, some of those little bits and pieces that are good to know when you're working with this component. Because sometimes you just want to show everything. Now for the separator, we can also set that equal to cell. And that's just going to basically make everything feel a little bit more contained. So that's kind of cool. And we can also make this dense. If you've got a lot of data that you're showing, by making it dense, you can show all of that data much more easily. So that's just about it for this video. Once again, if you're interested in this kind of thing, then check out quasarcomponents.com, where I go through basically all of Quasar's components, all 72 of them. I'm super, super excited about this website and about this offer. And by the way, it's the only place that you'll be able to buy an official Quasar t-shirt. And like I mentioned before, we're also going to rebuild the YouTube UI and a whole bunch of other cool stuff in that series as well. You also get access to a Discord channel that you'll only be able to access through that page. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but all proceeds go directly to helping with the development of Quasar, which is super, super cool because I love this framework and I just want to keep, I want to help it to get better because I love it so much and really, really enjoy messing around with it. So yeah, all proceeds go directly to helping with Quasar. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Check out quasarcomponents.com and I will see you in the next video where we're going to explore, I think I said at the bottom of the blog here. Let me just quickly find it. Yeah, actually, we're going to be exploring expandable rows and selectable rows. So you'll be able to have like little checkboxes here where you can select each of the rows there. Quasar makes that really easy to do. And we'll also make it so that there's like a little button here that you can click that expands these rows. That's often a feature that people want with table components, and Quasar makes that really easy as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future stream.